Stanley Spencer, one of Britain's most distinctive and unconventional artists, was born on June 30, 1891, in Cookham, a small village in Berkshire. This quintessentially English setting profoundly shaped Spencer's artistic vision and identity throughout his life. Known for his deeply personal and spiritual works, Spencer's art explored themes of religion, humanity, and everyday life, often merging the sacred and the mundane in surprising and provocative ways. Stanley Spencer was the seventh of 11 children born to William and Anna Caroline Spencer. His father, a music teacher and organist, fostered an atmosphere of creativity and intellectual curiosity in the household. The Spencer family lived in a modest home known as Fernley in Cookham, a village that Stanley would later describe as his heaven on earth. This idyllic setting, with its lush landscapes and close-knit community, became the backdrop for much of his work and influenced his deep sense of spirituality and connection to the natural world. From a young age, Spencer displayed an extraordinary talent for drawing and painting. His artistic abilities were nurtured by his parents and older siblings, who encouraged him to pursue his passion. In 1907, at the age of 16, he was admitted to the prestigious Slade School of Fine Art in London, where he studied under prominent figures such as Henry Tonks and Philip Wilson Steer. Spencer's time at the Slade was transformative. He honed his technical skills, developed his distinctive style, and formed lasting friendships with other students, including Dora Carrington and Paul Nash. While at the Slade, Spencer became known for his meticulous attention to detail and his unconventional approach to composition. His works often drew inspiration from Renaissance art, particularly the frescoes of Giotto and Piero della Francesca, which he admired for their narrative clarity and spiritual depth. However, Spencer also imbued his paintings with a modern sensibility, blending traditional techniques with a bold, idiosyncratic vision. After completing his studies at the Slade in 1912, Spencer returned to Cookham, where he began to develop the themes and style that would define his career. His early works, such as The Nativity, 1912, and The Last Supper, 1913 to 1914, reimagined biblical scenes set in the familiar landscapes of his village. By situating sacred events in a contemporary rural context, Spencer created a unique visual language that resonated with both the spiritual and the everyday. Despite his burgeoning talent, Spencer's early career was marked by financial struggles and limited recognition. He participated in group exhibitions and had some success selling his work, but his unconventional approach often baffled critics and patrons. Undeterred, Spencer remained committed to his vision, finding solace and inspiration in Cookham's surroundings. The outbreak of World War I in 1914 marked a turning point in Spencer's life and art. In 1915, he enlisted in the Royal Army Medical Corps, serving first in Bristol and later in Salonika, Greece. His experiences during the war, particularly his time working in military hospitals and witnessing the suffering of soldiers, had a profound impact on his psyche and artistic vision. Spencer's exposure to the fragility of life and the resilience of the human spirit deepened his religious convictions and inspired him to explore themes of redemption, sacrifice, and the sanctity of human existence. While serving in Salonika, Spencer produced a series of sketches and watercolors that documented his surroundings and experiences. These works, characterized by their stark realism and emotional intensity, reflected his growing interest in the human condition and the interconnectedness of life and death. After the war, Spencer channeled these experiences into some of his most significant works, including the Sandham Memorial Chapel murals. In the years following World War I, Spencer's reputation as an artist began to grow. In 1927, he was commissioned to create a series of murals for the Sandham Memorial Chapel in Berkshire, Hampshire. Funded by patrons Lewis and Mary Berrand, the chapel was built as a memorial to Lieutenant Henry Willoughby Sandham, who had died of an illness contracted during the war. Spencer devoted nearly 6 years to the project, creating a monumental cycle of paintings that depicted scenes from his military service and explored themes of suffering, sacrifice, and spiritual transcendence. The Sandham Memorial Chapel murals, completed in 1932, are widely regarded as Spencer's magnum opus. Combining his personal experiences with biblical allegory, the murals present a deeply humanistic vision of the war, celebrating the dignity of ordinary soldiers and the redemptive power of faith and love. The chapel's central panel, The Resurrection of the Soldiers, depicts soldiers rising from their graves in a serene, otherworldly landscape, embodying Spencer's belief in the continuity of life and the possibility of spiritual renewal. Throughout the 1920s and early 1930s, Spencer's work continued to attract attention for its originality and emotional depth. His paintings, such as Christ Carrying the Cross, 1920, and The Resurrection, Cookham, 1924 to 1927, exemplified his ability to blend the sacred and the ordinary, reimagining religious narratives in the context of his beloved village. Spencer's unique vision earned him critical acclaim and a growing circle of admirers, although his unconventional style and subject matter also provoked controversy. Spencer's personal life during this period was equally complex. In 1925, he married Hilda Carline, a fellow artist and former Slade student. The couple had 2 daughters, Shirin and Unity, but their relationship was marked by tensions and misunderstandings, stemming in part from Spencer's single-minded devotion to his art. Despite these challenges, Hilda remained a significant presence in Spencer's life and work, inspiring many of his most intimate and poignant paintings. By the mid-1930s, Stanley Spencer had established himself as one of Britain's most distinctive and innovative artists. His early years, shaped by the influences of Cookham, the Slade, and his wartime experiences, laid the foundation for a career that would continue to evolve in surprising and provocative ways. Spencer's ability to merge the spiritual and the everyday, the visionary and the domestic, set him apart from his contemporaries and ensured his lasting impact on the world of art. As Stanley Spencer's career progressed into its later phases, his art and personal life became increasingly intertwined, reflecting the complexities of his emotional world. The second half of Spencer's life was marked by professional recognition, evolving artistic themes, and profound personal struggles. Despite these challenges, he remained steadfast in his pursuit of a deeply personal and spiritual artistic vision, producing works that continue to resonate as expressions of humanity's shared experience. Stanley Spencer's marriage to Hilda Carline, while fruitful in its early years, began to unravel in the 1930s. Their relationship was strained by Spencer's obsession with his art and his emotional withdrawal, as well as Hilda's feelings of being overshadowed by his singular focus. Matters were further complicated by Spencer's infatuation with Patricia Preece, a fellow artist and former Slade student whom he met in 1929. Preece, who was openly in a relationship with another woman, Dorothy Hepworth, exerted a powerful and manipulative influence over Spencer, leading to the eventual dissolution of his marriage to Hilda in 1937. Despite being deeply in love with Patricia, Spencer's second marriage was fraught with tension and unhappiness. Patricia refused to consummate the marriage and continued her relationship with Hepworth, leaving Spencer in a state of emotional turmoil. These personal struggles had a profound impact on his art, which became increasingly introspective and charged with themes of longing, vulnerability, and the complexities of human relationships. His portraits of Patricia, including the famous double nude portrait, The Artist and His Second Wife, 1937, reveal a mixture of idealization and pain, capturing the emotional intensity of their troubled union. While his personal life was in disarray, Spencer found solace in his work. The 1930s saw him embark on ambitious new projects, including a series of paintings exploring the theme of the resurrection, which had been a central motif in his earlier works. Spencer's ability to transform personal anguish into artistic expression underscored his resilience and dedication to his craft. The outbreak of World War II in 1939 brought new challenges and opportunities for Spencer. Although he was too old to serve in the military, he was commissioned by the War Artists Advisory Committee to produce works documenting the war effort. Between 1940 and 1945, Spencer created a series of paintings depicting shipbuilding activities in the Clyde shipyards in Glasgow. These works, characterized by their meticulous detail and monumental scale, reflect Spencer's fascination with the dignity and camaraderie of manual labor. The Clyde Shipyard paintings marked a departure from the overtly religious themes of Spencer's earlier work, focusing instead on the industrial and human dimensions of wartime Britain. However, his spiritual vision remained intact, as he imbued these scenes with a sense of reverence and transcendence, elevating the ordinary to the extraordinary. This period demonstrated Spencer's ability to adapt his artistic practice to new contexts, while remaining true to his core beliefs. In the post-war years, Stanley Spencer's reputation as one of Britain's leading artists was firmly established. He was knighted in 1959, a recognition of his significant contributions to British art. Exhibitions of his work were held at major galleries, including a retrospective at the Tate Gallery in 1955, which solidified his status as a modern master. Despite his growing acclaim, Spencer's work continued to provoke mixed reactions from critics and audiences. His exploration of eroticism and human intimacy, particularly in his later paintings, sparked controversy and discomfort. Works such as The Lovers, 1943–1944, and Nude in a Garden, 1951, reflect Spencer's preoccupation with the complexities of love, desire, and the human body, themes that were deeply personal and often at odds with societal norms of the time. For Spencer, these works were not merely about physicality, but were expressions of a profound spiritual and emotional quest. He sought to depict the unity of body and soul, exploring the sacred dimensions of human connection. However, his unapologetically personal approach often left him vulnerable to criticism and misunderstanding, highlighting the tension between his artistic vision and the expectations of his audience. In the final years of his life, Spencer returned to Cookham, the village that had been the wellspring of his creativity. Although he had never truly left it behind in spirit, his physical return marked a period of reflection and consolidation. Spencer revisited familiar themes and motifs, creating works that celebrated the beauty and vitality of everyday life in his beloved village of heaven. One of his final major projects was a series of paintings for the church house in Cookham, envisioned as a continuation of the spiritual and communal themes he had explored throughout his career. Although the project was never completed, the surviving sketches and studies reveal Spencer's enduring commitment to his artistic ideals and his unshakable belief in the redemptive power of art. Stanley Spencer passed away on December 14, 1959, at the age of 68. His death marked the end of a remarkable career that had spanned 5 decades and produced some of the most distinctive and compelling works of British art. Today, Spencer is celebrated not only for his technical skill and originality, but also for his ability to convey the depth and complexity of human experience. Spencer's legacy extends beyond his paintings. His ability to blend the sacred and the mundane, the spiritual and the everyday, has inspired generations of artists and continues to resonate with contemporary audiences. The Stanley Spencer Gallery, located in his hometown of Cookham, stands as a testament to his enduring impact, showcasing his works and preserving the memory of his unique vision. Stanley Spencer's life was one of paradox, simultaneously rooted in the familiarity of Cookham and transcendent in its spiritual aspirations. He was a deeply private individual who poured his innermost thoughts and emotions onto the canvas, creating works that were both intensely personal and universally resonant. Spencer's ability to find the divine in the ordinary, to transform the everyday into a vision of the eternal, remains his most enduring achievement. As we reflect on his life and work, Spencer emerges as a figure of profound humanity and complexity. His art invites us to see the world with fresh eyes, to recognize the sacred in our own lives, and to celebrate the beauty and mystery of existence.